So I became obsessed with these stories. I'm getting to the KIVA part. I write them down. Every few weeks when I got to an electricity source, I would email them off to my friends and family. I also had a cell phone that worked almost anywhere, which was crazy. Uganda at the time had something like 87% cell coverage. It was amazing. It would be hours from an electricity source in a mud hut with a grass thatched roof, and I could call my mom. It was cool. So, became obsessed with the stories, started to share them with friends and family, and this dialogue unfolded between myself, my co-founder, Matthew, who would come to visit me, Matthew Flannery, and our friends and family back home. The questions kept coming in very specific ways. Well, are you going to see Joseph the goat herder again? Are you going to see Jane the seamstress again? Are you going, and would you lend them this money from me? So we thought, wouldn't it be fun, literally, wouldn't it be fun to put all of these stories on a website? Pictures, stories, and loan needs, which again were often $200 or $300, and then collectively, because all of my friends didn't have a few $100s even to donate or to lend, but they had 25. So we thought, okay, we'll let people lend as little as $25 to a specific entrepreneur in Uganda, because that's where I was, and wouldn't that be interesting? So a few months later, I came home for a while, I went back to Uganda, took a camera, took pictures of my friends, and posted 7 stories, 7 entrepreneurs, on this little website. They needed a total of $3,000. Basically overnight the money came in, we sent it over to our friend Moses. This is not official, no organizations are involved at this point. We send the money to our friend, he lends it out, he collects repayments and sends us updates over a 6-month period. And 6 months later, we think, okay, our little idea worked, let's do it again. Call up Moses and another 12 businesses, and we took the word beta off of the site. So that was our official launch almost 4 years ago to the day, in October of '05. Fast forward, our first year, after that $3,000 beta round, we did $500,000 in loans. The second year was $15 million, the third year was around 45, and we're about to cross $100 million in a few weeks, and today we do $5 million a month in these little $25 bits of loans, not donations, so loans, to entrepreneurs in 50 some developing countries from lenders. This is what I love, and from lenders in 183 countries. So all over the world, there are people logging onto this website every day and saying, huh, this person looks like a deserving, smart, strong entrepreneur. I'm gonna chip in and lend them 25 bucks. And over the course of the loan, I'll get pictures and updates and hear about how they're doing, and I'll get my money back, and then I can relend. So that's what KIVA does today. So it's the world's first peer-to-peer micro-lending platform for poverty alleviation. There's a lot, I talk a lot about KIVA. I talk 2 to 3 times a week, speaking at Stanford tomorrow. Gosh, man, I have to repack. I'm speaking at Stanford tomorrow, and in Paris on Friday. It's gonna be a busy week, but there's a lot of ways we can go at this point. When I speak to students, the thing that I like to talk to them about is how to go do your dream, and to not be afraid to start small and take really tiny steps. And I think in amazing institutions that probably many children, grandchildren, just people that you know out there, when you're in an institution that's so amazing, like Stanford, for example, it sometimes gets intimidating, because remember, there are these big ideas of change and impact, and you gotta start something that scales rapidly. You have to hit all these high numbers as quickly as you can, and I think that can be intimidating. So when I speak to high school students and college students, I talk a little bit about not being afraid to start small and specific. When I talk to corporations, I talk about risk and innovation. And I guess I'll just say 2 things. I'll say 2 things. I'll mix it all up here. I don't know my audience very well today. But hopefully I'll get to know you a little bit in a minute. So one thing that's really helped us is focusing on our mission. And I think this is a nice lesson for sort of any audience, right? Because it's not just about focus on the business mission, but it's kind of knowing who you are and who you're not. And not being afraid to stick to your identity, even when it's hard some days, even when it's easier some days, even when there are opportunities that might come by that seem like objectively good opportunities, but they're not about who you are. So KIVA's mission is to connect people through lending to alleviate poverty. Connect people through lending to alleviate poverty. It's about connection, actually. It's not about let's raise a lot of money as quickly as we can for microfinance. It's not about let's build a huge network of microfinance institutions like the Grameen banks of the world and be a really powerful force for blah, blah, blah. It's not that. It's about connecting people. So we make decisions against this mission daily. For example, 2 years ago, a company came, and there are all sorts of stories. This happens to be, I picked up the phone call because everyone did everything 2 years ago in a startup, and hello, you've reached KIVA, what can I do for you? The company called us and said, hey, we have $10 million in our corporate social responsibility budget, we want to put it through KIVA. Okay, thanks for thinking of us. What do you mean exactly? Do you want to like just pump it through the system and get it back and then check off your box that says, yay, I'm a nice company, I did something socially responsible? Or option B, would you like to actually divide up this money among employees and clients or something and give them gift certificates, and then they go, these human beings go to the website and read stories of entrepreneurs and choose one and connect, and then over time get updates and learn about it, you know, do you want to do that or just dump it in the system? And we definitely gave other options too, by the way, like pay our rent forever or something. But anyway, it was more or less that they wanted option A, and we said, well, no thank you, but I can tell you another dozen places to go invest your money if you'd actually like to make interest. So, because it's a zero interest loan on KIVA. So anyway, we say no to things all the time, but it feels really good to do that, because imagine had we taken that money, think about the little $25 bits representing a person that fill up $10 million that we would have lost. If all else is equal, we'd rather have more people and the same amount of money than just money. And in fact, we would have taken opportunities away from a lot of individuals had we absorbed that, because mostly our problem up until this last year, because we finally scaled a little bit, has been keeping up with lender demand. So about half of 2007, we had this problem of too many lenders coming to the site wanting to lend, and we would run out of entrepreneurs because we were hiring as fast as we could. But it's not a typical nonprofit problem, and it certainly is not something I share a lot with our nonprofit colleagues, because it's like the kid that gets 99% on a test and is bummed they didn't get an A plus 100%. Because it's a wonderful problem to have as a nonprofit that people are overwhelming you wanting to give you their money. So, $10 million example, this is our mission, this is how we make decisions against it. The other and final thing I'll say is this. So, you know, I ended up going, I studied philosophy and poetry undergrad because I wanted to study things that were beautiful and interesting, and I wanted to help people. Why would I study business? Boo, business, I thought at the time, was for being selfish and making money for yourself. I didn't know that business could actually be this powerful tool for change in the world and in the lives of the poor. So eventually I went back and I got my MBA at Stanford right at the time when KIVA was starting up. That was kind of a lot, doing that in school, but just thinking about it makes me want to take a nap. But anyway, man. But what was great was that I got to learn the language of business while we were growing, and so I learned something in class and say, oh my gosh, we could totally use this at KIVA, and I take it home and try it out. So it's an amazing stage upon which to sort of try out all these ideas. And a lot of them worked. We say a lot at KIVA, you know, it's a tax code, not a religion. We're a 501c3, but actually we're more profitable as a nonprofit than we would be as a for-profit because of how much we get subsidized. We're the first nonprofit to get PayPal, actually, to waive our transaction fees. So imagine $100 million in little bits going back and forth. Thank you, PayPal, for free, right? So why am I talking about this? Because of coffee. What I wanted to say with this, all right, I know. So, you know, in business school you learn all this great stuff and all these tools to make decisions. And one thing, I took a marketing class, for example, and you learn about, you know, going out and doing these surveys and getting all this data that then drives what you do. We have a very different attitude at KIVA about how we operate, what we do when we wake up every day and how we engage the people around us. So we believe in co-creation of a product and of a movement. We believe in being very open with our brand and allowing our lenders, for example, to take the logo and do whatever you want to do. I've seen people with KIVA tattoos, no joke, but to take it and do whatever they want to do with it. Someone started a KIVA store where they sell t-shirts and bags and then give us the proceeds, fine. Someone made KIVApedia online. So it sounds great. Not paid staff, just volunteers. There are lending teams. You can lend with your book club or your church group or whatever and lend together. There are all these things out there that people have created. Oh, we just released our API for the techies in the room, and there's an iPhone app, so if you want to lend through your phone in like 30 seconds, you can. All this stuff is out there being created, and we love it, and we encourage our lenders to do that. Now, part of this ownership, though, part of the co-creation of this public good, like a Wikipedia or something, involves giving up some control. And so what I'm about to say in that spirit is not prescriptive, again. It's simply, isn't this interesting? I think KIVA can be a platform and can be an opportunity for people to come and to see the poor in a new way, the way that I got to. So all that money going back and forth is a really interesting tool to alleviate poverty and for connectivity. You know, I pay a lot more attention when someone's paying you back every week than if I'd just given a donation. So it keeps people connected in a new way. And I hope that, you know, yes, we have so many kinds of entrepreneurs on the site, and I hope that this can be a new way for us to see each other. So to give you an example, since I don't have slides or a screenshot or something, I have gotten to loan to a popcorn seller in Samoa, a butcher in Afghanistan, let's see, a group of vegetable sellers in Kenya, a taxi driver in Bulgaria, a hair salon owner in Iraq, a bicycle repairman in Ecuador, and a daycare center owner in San Francisco. So what does this mean? Well, KIVA launched in the US a few months ago, and so what you see now, when you go to the website, you can see lender profile pages, pictures, and description. You can see entrepreneur profile pages, obviously. What I love is that it's hard to tell anymore who's who. So all that money going back and forth is fine, but the way that I was taught about the poor when I was young, I don't think was the best. And I hope that there are little kids out there maybe checking out the site with their families and, you know, having a kind of family activity here. We have KIVA curriculum for schools, it's really cool. But so what if now more people can come and encounter the poor, not as this charity case all the time, not only as a story that's pitiful and sad and based on suffering, but as this strong individual working hard to change their own life. And what if, an entrepreneur out there, what if this hair salon owner in Iraq can now see, oh, there's a group of Americans and people from all over the world that have funded me, that care about me, that are thinking about me in this way and know my story and are cheering me on. That's different. So what if KIVA can blur these lines between rich and poor, the ones that, and kind of break down these barriers that I think exist out there in the world that make us see each other and get nervous, or make us see each other and think, uh-oh, that's a project to go dump money into, as opposed to a person, a human being that I might connect with. So I really believe that if KIVA can create this new opportunity for people to see each other in a new way and to really, truly believe in each other's potential, both ways, I think that's really what changes the world. And everything else we can work out, sort of just logistics, moving stuff around. But I think it's all really about our motivations to connect with each other and to see each other as human beings, all of us with a great deal of potential. And that's what I really believe changes the world.